Hey, YouTube, let's do this.
Well, I started this story in the middle of the page. I remembered the lines and forgot my age. When somebody said my attitude was snotty, that's when you call and say get out tonight. I catch a late night movie on a late night flight. I'll be getting real drunk and making fun of everybody. Ain't nobody gonna get me down. Something must have gone around. Hey, you can stick that sign up your ass. The one that says it won't last. My sugar buzz is growing higher and higher every day. Your sarcasm cuts like a knife. I'll have the time of my life. My sugar buzz is growing higher and higher every day. To a party last Saturday night. You know, I think I got laid, then I got in a fight. I don't remember that much, but I think I liked it. I saw some band called Roses and Sake, and they brought back the rock, and the singer was cocky. 2 years later, I'm sure they'll forget about it. Ain't nobody gonna get me down. Something must have gone around. Yeah, you can stick that sign up your ass. The one that says it won't last. My sugar buzz is growing higher and higher every day. Your sarcasm cuts like a knife. I'll have the time of my life. My sugar buzz is growing higher and higher every day.
And hey, everybody, welcome to Squatch Talk. I'm Pat. How's everybody doing tonight? Thanks for being here, each and every single one of you. Yeah. So I gotta address it. So here we go. Here it comes, man. Brian King Sharp, you fucked up. You fucked up, and I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you how. And yeah, I mean, is it my opinion that you fucked up? Sure, I guess it's just an opinion. But again, you know, I'll intellectually lay it out as to how and why. What you did was not fucking cool. And I'm just going to get right into that part. So, number one, before you decided to be overly emotional person and use your big voice, which you have a big voice. Before you decide to use your big voice to trash my good name and attack me personally the way you did, you, sir, should have picked up the phone and called me before you decided to publicly use your big voice to trash my name and say the disgusting fucking things that you said about me and the disgusting shit you did, trying to make fun about me again, all personal, not business, not criticism, personal. Before you march down that horrible road that makes you look like a piece of shit, you should have been a man and picked up the phone and fucking called me. We could have talked about it. You got my number. So that was your first fuck up. And of course, your second fuck up, because I can take the criticism. You want to talk about Freeman and my show and what I had to say and laying out, you know, like what that was all about to me at that time on my show, saying to the Bigfoot world what I wanted to about the subject and, you know, and I'll get to the personal shit that never went down some personal road with Freeman. Um, but again, you accuse me of that on your big voice show. You accuse me of that. Um, and you're wrong because we have tape of all of this. But your second fuck up was to attack me personally over any of that. I could take the criticism any day of the week, man. I come on here and I talk about Bigfoot, whatever, dude. If I put my foot in my mouth, I put my foot in my mouth. It's happened before. It'll happen again. Um, that's just something that people do. People, you've done it too. And you damn sure did it whenever the fuck you recorded that Bigfoot podcast episode about me. Um, you should not have went down a personal road because I never went down any personal road about Freeman or you or Wayne, okay, or the kid. Never did. I never ever got personal about that. And again, like, criticize me all you want on what you think I'm wrong about or how I do my shows and all that stuff. That's fair. Uh, you can bring that, but bring it to me. Give me a chance to respond. Instead, you went down a disgusting fucking road, dude, and you made yourself look like a piece of shit. Because again, go back to my show. Say what you want about, oh, how, whatever it is, dude. Like, like, you don't know if that's true or the ABC thing or like however you want to counterpoint it. That's all fair. But the second you went personal, dude, you crossed the fucking line and you went too far and you made yourself look like a horrible person. Now, is everybody going to see it that way? No. But way more people than normal are. I could promise you that. There's a lot of people who like and respect you who are going to look at that and go, yeah, you kind of went too far. Like, I enjoy a good laugh at Pat's expense, but that was too much. And of course, the people that just hate me for no good reason, because they're crazy people and they reject truth. Like, I mean, those people are yucking it up while you're doing that, dude. While you're sticking that spear in my gut at my expense, because you feel that I did some horrible thing to somebody that's passed away, and that's not true. You know, if there's an accusation out there that can be even somewhat backed up, and there's some reasonable suspicion that Paul Freeman was committing hoaxes, it's nothing to do with the fact that he passed away. Nothing at all. It's nothing to do with the fact that he has a living son who talks about him. None of those things have anything to do with the situation of suspicion that is clearly there, that he was a hoaxer. And none of that has anything to do with mine, and pretty much the rest of the world's opinion that there's nothing all that compelling about the Paul Friedman footage. There's a reason why Peter Jennings was snickering, right? There's reason. Of course, I mean that has nothing to do with the footage, but you know, I didn't see any follow up from Peter in the '90s when he was still alive. So, like you you can criticize me all you want. That's fine. And I'm always willing to have those discussions, but you didn't pick up the phone. You didn't come to me with this. And again, you used your big voice to trash me and like really go after me in a disgusting way that I want to be angry about, but I'm not going to allow myself because I'm going to be the better fucking person here. Clearly, the better person. I can make fun of you too, you know, but I'm not going to. I can make fun of Wayne. I can make fun of people you love, but I'm not going to because that's stupid and childish. And the only reason why you did it, dude, is because you're one of the victims. You're one of the victims of emotional attachment to Bigfoot. You're too emotionally attached. Of course, with you, you're an entertainer, a successful entertainer. It's also tied to your breadbasket, which I wasn't. Me talking smack about the Freeman being a hoaxer, it doesn't threaten your breadbasket. Um, so that's not really in play. But what I'm telling you is, Brian, is that you are emotionally attached to the Bigfoot subject, along with a lot of the other people, most everyone else in the Bigfoot world. They all have this emotional attachment. I've seen it. Again, this is my objective, informed opinion. I'm not talking out of my ass. I'm not being a contrarian. I'm not jerking off dicks at the coalition. I've been doing this for longer than you, and these are my objective observations. I see the bullshit. I see the psychology. I see the people get emotionally attached to shit, and they don't want their wubba ripped away from them. And you have that propensity too, Brian. Clearly, I've known you for a little while. I've had discussions with you. I've seen you interact with other people. You and I have we've had some pretty serious discussions about some real weird bullshitty things. You seem like a good dude. The only reason that I can think that you would stick a spear in my gut is because it hurt you. You got hurt. You felt personally fucking hurt and made yourself look like a fucking idiot in the process. And Wayne too. I'll get to Wayne. Um, that's a whole different ball of wax. Um, but so that's what I'll say about that. You should have called me. Whatever, Brent. I posted it in the little Facebook thing. Well, I guess I didn't post a link to it. It's pretty bad. Go check out. So all of this happened on the latest episode of that Bigfoot podcast. Brian did pretty much the entire show about me, and again, he he took it to a disgusting personal level. Like I was even shocked. I wasn't expecting it to be that bad. Um, but you would have thought that I fucking killed his dog in front of him or something. Like for real, it's that bad. Um, and I mean, hey, he's wrong to do that. And so, again, like, should have called me, Brian, and you definitely shouldn't have so very publicly um, stuck those spears in my gut, man. Like, I don't deserve that. You know, I I didn't do anything to deserve that, man. Uh, it's gross, and so I'll tell you how gross it is. Maybe you know, maybe you don't know, but there's one thing you know. And it's funny you were talking about this on your live show the other night. Um, you guys talked a lot about camaraderie, but you also kind of addressed on some of the backstabbing and how people can be like, you think they're this, and it turns out they're that. Well, Brian, you're turning out to be that dude in my eyes. And again, definitely will be in some other people's eyes too. 100%. Because it was that fucking disgusting and horrible. It was bad. It was irresponsible. Um, Again, Nikki and Brent, man, like I talked about this in the little Facebook thing. I don't know. I guess I should have posted a link to it. My bad. Anyway, so Brian, like, to go that bad, like, you're gonna look bad in some people's eyes. And so, I know you were talking about that same kind of shit, the backstabbing. And I've been stabbed in the back by other people, not publicly like that. And not like that ever. Um But I've been stabbed in the back by other Bigfooters. It's fairly common, because you're dealing with people, you never know who the fuck you're dealing with, and we're all doing this online. Um, but Brian, you know that well, I know that when you first got into this Bigfoot world, somebody tried to help you out. A big player, I'll just say. I'm not gonna name names or tell the whole story, but a big player tried to help you out and I guess did help you out some and encourage you. And that certainly was a confidence boost to you. And I'm sure you thought that was cool, you know. And then out of nowhere, what did that big player do? He stabbed you in the fucking back, dropped you like a bad habit, and walked the fuck away. And you and I both know that he did that for no good reason. You and I both know, Brian, that when he did that to you, when he stabbed you in the back and walked away, it was over something that you really had no control over and that you didn't know. It wasn't your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't your fucking fault. And that's what happened. He stabbed you in the back and fucking dropped you like a bad habit. And you went on to become successful anyway. But in the meantime, he also dropped me like a bad habit because I was associated with you, and I liked the relationship I had with that guy. It was an interesting one. It was an interesting one, and I thought that relationship could go someplace interesting, you know? But that guy stopped talking to me because of you, and and your fuck up that was really not a fuck up. Again, I agree. I know we've talked about it. You didn't do anything wrong. The optics, the guy's fucking he's out of his mind with the fucking optics of it. But it was emotional what he did to you. It's emotional what you fucking did to me. Again, I in no way ever like took a shit on Paul Freeman's grave. To accuse him of being a hoaxer because there's some standing there, and there is, and it goes deeper than just, who is this guy? This guy says that this incident happened. Well, maybe it did. You ever think about that? You know, Again, I don't want to get into the details, or I don't want to have a debate about all those details. Um, the point is that I had enough suspicion to say, man, you know, it's time to start calling out the big names. I think Ron Moorhead's a hoaxer too. Like, you gonna start pulling your hair out? You gonna do another Bigfoot podcast show about me saying that Ron is a hoaxer? That I think this at this point the Sierra sounds are bullshit because I have good reason to. Again, I'm not pulling this stuff out of my ass. And again, I didn't take a shit on anybody's grave, nor did I call Jeff Meldrum a hoaxer. I'll address that right now too. I never accused or even implied that Jeff Meldrum is a hoaxer. I simply said, what are the odds? I don't think Jeff is a hoaxer. I'm not accusing him of being a hoaxer. I just said, I don't think he is. But I think there's something funny going on there that fucking Jeff's not aware of. He's not telling, he's getting some important details. Like, you know, because I said, "What are the odds?" And what are they? What are the odds that the one top guy, the guy at the very tip top of any kind of science in Bigfoot finds the footprints of an elusive and rare creature that he preaches has to be elusive and rare. He absolutely preaches that, because whenever the media asks Jeff Meldrum, "Well, how do you explain an undiscovered primate in North America in modern times?" His only answer is they would have to be elusive and rare. So what are the odds that the guy that fucking says that just happens to park his car and there's some Bigfoot prints? Like, I think the math's on my side on that one. The math doesn't lie. And a lot of these things I come at with I'm using math, which again doesn't lie. Physics, psychology, reality, and that's how I get to these opinions that I have that people in the Bigfoot world don't like, because it's quite simple. It's like they don't want to deal with that elephant in the room. The truth doesn't matter to them. And the more adamant I get about it, and sometimes I deliver it very passionately, I admit, um, I'm just the guy killing the music at the party. And nobody likes that. The Bigfoot party must go on, you know. Pop open another beer, crank up the next song, keep partying. And I'm over there at the stereo, like killing the faders, and everybody's gonna throw their hands up in the air and go, "What the fuck? You're an asshole," you know. So I'm sorry to kill the music at the party, but the truth matters to me. And yes, I think that most everything in the Bigfoot world is bullshit. I mean, I call balls and strikes like I see them. Um, and stop using my ball in the 10-yard line analogy. You are now cut off. I own that analogy. I created it. I copyrighted it. It's mine. Cease and desist. Um, but yeah, I mean, I could come on here and I mean, I could, you know, I could be an asshole. I could call you names. I could do all this shit. Um, you know, but that's not me, man. That's actually not me. I was angry and hurt when I actually sat down and finally listened to it. By the way, I mean, somebody gave me a heads up, you know, like I so whatever, that doesn't matter. But um, here's the thing, Brian. It's like I don't know if you're aware of what Gatewood said about you recently or not. Um, my guess is that you're probably not. I'll tell you this: what Todd Gatewood said about you recently is 10,000 times fucking worse than what you said about me. Your personal attacks on me on that Bigfoot podcast. Yeah, I'm gonna let you. I don't know if you know about that or not. I just found out about it. Ha ha ha. Because sometimes I just find out about things. But I just found out about that last night. Yes, last night on Nikki's show. And that was definitely about you, buddy. That's where that language came from. I knew it. The second they I don't think they knew that. I'm not sure that Nikki knows that. Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. Or Brent or what's his face? Hieronymus? Tate? Tate. I don't know if they knew, but I knew immediately when they started reading off that Todd Gatewood rant. I was like, "Oh fuck, he's talking about Brian." Because I remember when that shit went down. I remember when you were dealing with Todd, and then it took just a couple of negative comments, and not even negative, just like you know, the same old stuff. Like, I'm skeptical. I don't think this is how. This kind of looks like AI. This looks like art. Like any kind of criticism, and you were allowing it to happen on Facebook. And Todd went boom and stabbed you in the back. And he was gone. You remember that too. Yeah. Well, now he's talking shit about you, like in a way that's again 10,000 times worse than you were talking about me on your last episode. And I thought that was horrible. In fact, I mean, it made me want to defend you. I'm like, I'm gonna ambush this guy. Like, fuck it. I'm gonna get him on my show, thinking that I support his shit, and I'm totally ambush him. And not anymore. Not anymore. I'll just let all that sit right over there where it is, and I have nothing to do with it. But it's pretty bad. So I don't know. Karma. What did you say about karma? Something about karma. I shouldn't be an asshole. Mm, this fucking thing. I gotta take this to work tomorrow, and I'm like, I don't like it. um, I'm gonna spill coffee all over myself, like I'm doing right now. Um, oh man, that's. I mean, yeah, that's some sleepy. I can't catch up to the comment. That's some sleepy dreaming stuff right there, Kaiju. That's not how the world works. We humans, we don't always get along, and sometimes good comes out of that. A lot of times, good comes out of it. But conflict is a part of life, and you know, when it comes to Bigfoot, dude, mm, Fuck you, Troy. I will say that to you. I'm not ready to say that to Brian. Maybe it comes to that. It's basically what he said to me, but you can fuck off, dude, Troy. But hey, again, man, you want to talk about these things? I'm always the guy. I'm always been the open book of like, hey, if you disagree with me, come on and let's talk about it. In with good discourse, respectful disagreement, no name calling, no personal insults, no ad hominem, right? Because those things clearly mean that you're on the losing side of the argument. That you can't stand on your own 2 feet intellectually, or with facts, or with evidence, right? Because there is really no evidence of Bigfoot, just this talky talk. um, you think I'm wrong? Talk to me about it. Tell me why. Like, look, I could back up the shit that I talk about. I could back a lot of it up, man. A lot of this stuff, dude, I'm not just talking out of my ass, or maybe I do that every now and then. Again, I've put my foot in my mouth more than once. Like, you know, I've been doing this for 8 years. I got a couple few hundred shows under my belt. They're all long form. I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth every now and then. I'm gonna talk out of my ass every now and then. You know, um, and I'm fine with that. But there are reasons why I hold these opinions, and I can back them up pretty well, and I can. And again, I look at the Bigfoot world as just outright rejecting it because it makes them uncomfortable. Or a part of that making them uncomfortable is the emotional attachment they have to the subject. And I'm the guy saying, "Hold on here. I don't think you could just go out in the woods randomly and walk right up to a Bigfoot." A lot of people say they can, especially these days. A lot of people. And so, like, stuff like that is pretty easy to call out. Those bad narratives, it contradicts. The contradictions are there. They're obvious. They're easy to point out. You know, the Bigfoot narrative says, Bigfoot's everywhere all the time, and then there's this other thing called they're rare and elusive, and that's a contradiction. It has to be one or the other. They're never going to shake hands. So that's the easy one, right? Nobody can disagree with that. The contradiction is clear, you know. So you either get rid of the rare and elusive uh, language, or maybe you start to come around to the idea that Bigfoot is, in fact, not everywhere all the time, like the narrative says. Maybe the narrative is false. This is all fair game. So I don't think I have much more to say about it without repeating myself. Um, if you guys haven't heard it, just whatever, go Google that Bigfoot podcast and listen to the last one. That's where it is. Um, he talks about me for like 85% of the show once he gets past all his like sort of opening stuff. Him and Wayne. And oh yeah, Wayne. Like, I mean, dude, Wayne, again, pick up the phone and call me. Send me a message. Wayne used the, It was so disgusting towards the end of the show. Oh, we've been tiptoeing around this for too long. I'm like, my dumbass? You've been tiptoeing around my dumbass, my little tiny channel. Um, dude, i- Wayne, if you got something to fucking tiptoe around, pick up the fucking phone and call me. Why are you tiptoeing like a pussy? Don't be a pussy. Pick up the phone and call me. Tell me that it really frustrates you that I criticize the LBL narrative, and I'll explain to you how I got there. Even though I've explained it pretty goddamn well, yet like some of it has to do with with population. How many people are there per year? Like some of it has to do with that. But it's actually there's way more to it. The evidence is overwhelming that there's just the LBL. There's no business for an undiscovered primate to be marching around such a well maintained and managed wildlife area that is visited by so many people, and surrounded by other counties of people that live there. Um, it's kind of silly to say that the most amazing biological discovery is just like strolling around the LBL. Am I calling people liar? Well, not specifically. Do people lie about Bigfoot? Are you going to tell me they don't? Is that your position, Wayne? Is your position that no one ever lies about Bigfoot? Okay, that's not your position. I'm not a mind reader, but I know that you're not stupid enough to think that no one's ever lied about Bigfoot. So I didn't call anybody a liar, but people do lie about Bigfoot, and people are certainly mistaken. Again, is no one ever mistaken about Bigfoot? Of course not. It happens. It's just that you and I, Wayne, we disagree on the percentage. I'm sure that your percentage is way down here. Yeah, some people lie. Yes, some people are mistaken, but the vast majority is like, it's true. I just know it. I just know it's true. I can't prove it, but I know it's true. And I'm the opposite. I'm like, nah, the vast majority is bullshit. And there's something going on that I can't explain. And I can back up the bullshit part. I mean, and there are ways to prove it, that's for sure. So that's all I have to say to you, Wayne. You should have picked up the phone and called me too. If you tiptoeing around to my dumb ass, then that makes you a fucking pussy. Sorry. And that's all the name calling I'll do tonight. But I couldn't help myself on that one. Um, so yeah, that's what this is all about. The funny thing is, I haven't seen one person in chat that's heard that episode. Um, but that being said, as I acknowledged at the very beginning of this um, discussion, you know, Brian has a big voice. He chose to use it extremely irresponsibly and made himself look like a foolish, weak person. And that's sad, and that hurts me. And I'm gonna let the anger go. It made me angry. I'm just gonna fucking let it go because that's the right thing to do, I think. Um, I'm gonna enjoy the rest of the sunset, go play with my dog, and get ready for the rest of this week. But thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks for letting me get that off my chest. It meant something to do that. So I'll catch you guys next time, and maybe it'll be a more jovial, interesting, fun, exciting show that we could do. But to the two players involved here, to Brian and Wayne, again, anytime, anywhere, to If you could be responsible enough to come to the table and act like adults and have a reasonable conversation without resorting to ad hominem attacks or personal bashing or spear sticking into my gut, if you're capable enough of that and you're not afraid of what truth might come out of that conversation, I'll do that anytime. I will. I'll do it anytime. But will you? Guess we'll find out. Later, taters.